Special, starring Johnny Carson. Johnny's guest hostess this week is Joan Rivers. This is Doc Severinsen along with Tommy Newsom and the NBC Orchestra, inviting you to join Joan and her guests from Gremlin's Hoyt Axton, comedian Maureen Murphy, and sex therapist Dr. Ruth Westheimer. And now, here's Joan Rivers.
Oh, boy, what a good audience. Thank because I had a lousy day. I couldn't find... No. Somebody broke into my trailer and took all my clothes. Luckily, do you like this dress? You want to talk about luck? I found this dress on a chair right next to my husband's bed. Isn't that lucky? Yes. And it came with its own girdle and brassiere and... Isn't that lucky? Not that I think my husband cheats, because no, but yeah, can we talk here? Dr. Ruth Westheimer is coming on tonight. We're going to talk about, sexual things. And I think my husband is cheating. Last night we were making love, and I said to him, how come you don't call out my name during sex? And he said, I'm not up to the J's yet. And I went home last night, and I found an earring on my pillow. So, right away, what would you think? You think, But my husband's very clever. He said, you're good tonight, you get the other one. And what upsets me is I think I know who he's cheating with, which is our secretary. We have a secretary. I'm sorry, but very stupid. It is, and which none of the men seem to notice. But the woman is stupid. I said to her, take a letter. She went, M, do I win? She's just stupid. That, or he could be cheating with my girlfriend Heidi Abramowitz, because my girl. Oh, please, my girlfriend. I wouldn't trust Heidi Abramowitz with a plant. I mean, this girl, she is a tramp. This girl, she comes across more often than the Staten Island ferry. I mean, you don't know. Her hips are known as Knots Landing. This woman is a tramp. She has been between more sheets than Gandhi. This woman is a tramp. Her dog is called G-Spot. She is a... Except, I don't think you guys what a good joke that was. No, but I don't think a friend would cheat with your husband. Are you married or single? Single. Single. I mean, you don't know, because except nobody likes me. I think Heidi's fooling around, because people just don't like me. I don't know what it is. There's something about me. Lee Iacocca, he begged me to buy a foreign car. I mean, there was just something about... The Surgeon General begged me to start smoking. I mean, Boy George said, yes, I want to hurt you. And my parents hated me. I had my confirmation at the Temple of Doom. I mean, my parents hated me. Every time I would go to sleep, they put the sheet over my face and go, good. And I was a sensitive kid. When my grandfather died, oh, God, I was banging on the coffin. Luckily, they let me out. But, I was a sensitive child. And you know why I was so sensitive? Because my parents really didn't want to have me. That's because if parents don't want to have you. Did your parents want you? Yeah, well, you could tell when you walk in your mother's room and she goes, I mean, my father never wanted me. My father was into sports. All he knew was fishing. He used to pick me up by the eyes, you know what I mean? But better than my husband's father, who was into bowling. But what a good audience you are. We are going to have a fabulous show for you. I'm glad you're here tonight. We have Hoyt Axton, who is just wonderful from Gremlins, right? Yeah. Maureen Murphy, who is funny. And Dr. Ruth Westheimer. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back after this commercial message. Good. Nice audience. Oh. are again. We should be out Easter egging.
I know, and I love that dress of yours. It has like a British look about it.
Yes, well...
As though you should be at one of those garden parties.
And, well, she asks me all the time, you know.
Who is she?
The Queen of England. Is she here?
Come on.
Look for a woman in a house dressed in a crown. She could be sitting right next. Who puts the Queen of England together? I mean, I did a Royal Command performance. She was wearing soap on a rope for jewelry. I mean... She's a nice lady, but, you know, she needs some tips on dressing.
I love that big pocketbook at all
times. Well, she carries a sandwich in there, I guess. I don't know. A bottle for Princess Margaret. I don't know.
You know, last night we were talking about the first jobs that we ever had, but I bet you don't... What was the worst job you ever had? Forget the first.
Well,
I'm talking the worst.
Played in a mafia club.
Really?
Oh, you were scared to say, stop me if you've heard this one. And they all carried guns. Yeah, well, have you ever played one of those places?
Yes, I have.
It was rough. The bouncer had his own bodyguard. I mean, you could, they would serve lobster and they put on bulletproof bibs. I mean, it was just... What about you? What was your worst job?
Well, I don't know if it was the worst. It's the most unusual job I ever had, but I worked in a burlesque house as a tassel hanger.
Seriously.
The worst job I ever had actually was working on a wheat ranch in eastern Oregon in the middle of summer, swamping on a rod weeder, which is a large piece of iron equipment which ran over me, and it was about 115 degrees.
Oh, how old were you?
I was 9 years old.
Yeah, well, boy, you enjoyed them when you're sitting here in a nice outfit, don't you?
It is, yeah. Purple all the way. I made up my mind that day in a wheat field. I said, from now on, I'm wearing purple to go with the bruises.
Well, that's why I appreciate when I go to play at different places. I go, every time I walk on a stage, even back here, I go, thank you, God, because I've been through it all. And nice boy, you should know the good times.
It's a nice way to make a living, and I'm very always proud to say that you've shown your gratitude for the good things that have happened to you in this business by being the national chairperson of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation.
And we are going to... No, wait. And we are going to have our first telethon ever next May, thanks to NBC and Brandon Tartikoff and Grant Tinker and Johnny Carson, the Carson Production. So they've all gotten together. So isn't that nice? So that's lovely.
Wonderful charity, and it's long overdue, and I'm glad you're going to do it, and whatever I can do...
You'll be called on. Don't worry. Have I got my finger ready? Hi, Doc. Can you help us? You know.
Oh, now, I'd be happy to. The boys in the band, I think, would like to be there, too.
Yeah, they really look thrilled. Another freebie. Thanks a lot. No, but so they'd be glad to do.
But long before that, we have some concert dates coming up that I want to tell the people out there about. July 4th through the 10th at Resorts International in Atlantic City. Joan Rivers on stage with Della Reese and Gary Shandling. And then July 12th through the 15th at the Coliseum Theater in Latham, New York. And for your guest stars, you're going to have Clint Holmes and Gary Shandling.
Oh.
And this Saturday and Sunday, I don't want you to forget it, at the South Shore Music Circus in Cohasset, and that's in Massachusetts.
And who's going to be there? Let me think.
You tell me.
Clint Holmes and Gary Shandling. Oh, my, I knew it. We'll be right back after this commercial message, and we'll bring on immediately Hoyt Axton, right? So that'll be fun. So please stay. We are here. My first guest, as I said right before commercial, is a very talented singer, a very talented songwriter, and he's currently co-starring in the smash hit movie Gremlins, Mr. Hoyt Axton. Hoyt's your real name, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's it. Hoyt Wayne Axton is named after an uncle who's a moonshiner in Oklahoma.
And was he in trouble when he's moonshining?
No, not when he was moonshining. He was in trouble afterwards.
Like you?
They frown on that. I've never really been in trouble. I've never done anything wrong, John. Not a thing in my whole... A couple of things, okay. Maybe all right, maybe a couple of hundred. All right, I've been in trouble since I was born.
Yeah. Because I was reading the notes about you. You've been married 3 times.
And happily married. I'm married now for the 3rd time. I'm on my 3rd marriage now. I mean, my last marriage. I'm very happily married. Come on. My old lady's 6'1", barefooted, and carries a hammer, you know?
Oh, I saw her backstage with a little baby.
Yeah. That's
What?
Matthew Christopher, that baby.
Why didn't the other two marriages work?
I guess probably
Just curious.
Probably because the women didn't understand me.
What didn't they understand?
Couldn't have been my fault. I don't know. I don't know what... All right, a few times, a couple of hundred times, I've been blessed and cursed with a really poor memory, and sometimes I couldn't find my house. And I'd stay gone for a few days, you know? And wives frown on that.
Do you stay friendly with your exes?
One of them, yes. My second wife is a wealthy divorcee living in Oregon.
Was she married to Johnny?
I can empathize with John sometimes. No, listen, I still like my ex-wives very much, and I'm sure that they think of me often.
Around the first of the month, right? Tell us about Gremlins, then we'll go back to talking about you.
Gremlins was more fun. I've done 6 feature movies in my life, okay?
Why?
What?
There was a long pause between Gremlins and what was the last one? We had like 6 and 7.
So I'll tell you what, when I first started, I was a folk singer for 10 years,
yeah.
Right? And when I first started singing back in '61, I was really lucky. I was living in a 55 Plymouth, right? And I wrote a song that was a hit for the Kingston Trio. I co-wrote a song with a friend of mine called Greenback Dollar. Some people say I'm a no count, others say I'm no good. And all of a sudden, I was making like 150 a week instead of 50. And so I got an apartment, got to move out of the car, you know, and it was really neat. So I really did get lucky. You know, to get that lucky your first year in the business is good fortune. And everything's really been nice since I've been rich and broke 3 times. That happens in this business.
But you and Kenny Rogers, that's just, I think chubby men do that.
No.
You know? No, I don't mean, no, but you know.
Oh, it's okay.
Chubby Western guys just make money and have lots of wives and...
Yeah, that's... And we all look alike. No, I've signed, 3 times I've signed Roy Clark autographs for people who insist. They'll come out and say, may I have your autograph? And I'll say, sure, who do you think I am? They say, you're Roy Clark. I mean, they're not going to argue about it.
You know what?
So I just say, sure,
Roy
God bless
Clark?
you.
Just as they really filthy to them. And they go, oh, did you hear what Roy Clark said to my friend?
Yeah, I wish I could have convinced my ex-wives that they were Roy's ex-wives.
Tell us about, no, the 6 movies, though, you haven't made, didn't you make them, then you stopped for 10 years?
No, I did it like back in '63. The first thing I ever did was a bonanza. I talked myself into it. I talked them into it. And everything that I've ever done as an actor has come directly out of the music. You know, I'll be playing somewhere and somebody comes and say, hey, man, what are you doing next week? You want to do a movie? It's really been that simple. You know, it really has. I haven't done a lot of things, but I've done some. I did a Bonanza and I Dream of Jeannie and a Chrysler Theater and a thing called Iron Horse with Dale Robertson back in '63, '64. And then I did a movie in '65 called Smokey, King of the Wild Stallions Goes to Summer Camp. So it was just called Smokey. And it was with Fess Parker and Diana Hyland, Cotty Gerardo. And we had a great time. And I had a pretty good time. I was a terrible actor. I mean, no, I'm serious. Really a bad actor. Half the time I didn't know where the camera was. I didn't know my lines. Horses drove me nuts.
Are you serious?
Well, you ever try to sit on a horse that doesn't want to be there and doesn't want a 250-pound Okie sitting on him anyway? You know, he wants to be somewhere else eating grass and thinking about mares.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm sitting up there trying to pass a canteen and talk, and I just couldn't do it. But in this movie, Smokey, they gave me plenty of time, and they edited around all my bad scenes. And it came off okay, but I was playing a singing bad guy cowboy.
A singing bad guy.
Yeah, I'm the bad guy, like the horse is the star of the movie, okay? And there's a point, no, it's true, and there's a point during the movie where I sneak up to this hexagonal log corral at night, and I'm the bad guy. And so I put my gloves on 1 finger at a time. And I say to the horse, and he's tethered on a short rope to a post in the center of this corral. So I sneak up, and I'm going to pick up a lariat and a cinch strap and decide that the cinch strap, I can beat him with this. I mean, I'm really mean, you know. And I'm going, hey, Smokey, you and me going to take a little ride. But before we do, I'm going to teach you a lesson. And I'm going to beat the horse, steal him, sell him to bad guys, and I'm going to take my ill-gotten gains and go chase wild women and drive fast and drink wine and have a good time.
Sounds like a great movie.
Yeah. But I didn't get to do that because what happens is I go into the corral, I beat the horse, he breaks the tether, I turn into a coward, I run for the fence, can't get over, can't get under, can't get through the fence. The horse runs over, rears up in the moonlight, and stomps me to death. Okay? Well, now what they did, Joe, they had a screening at 20th Century Fox for 1,200 Herald Examiner paper boys and their brothers and sisters, right? So I'm sitting in the back with Fess Parker, and I had on my outfit, the boots, the hat, the Levi's. And I'm watching this thing from a professional point of view, and I'm trying to say, this is my big final scene. Did I do a decent job or not? Was I effective? And when that horse reared up in the moonlight to stomp me to death, and the music, like 60-piece orchestra, da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. And when that horse came down, 1,200 children leaped out of their chairs and went, yay! And I kind of went, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe I did too good a job. And afterwards, they had hot dogs and hamburgers and a band outside, and they had a couple of those library tables, you know, and they had 1,000 photographs of me and 1,000 photographs of Fess Parker. Fess Parker signed 1,000 photographs. I signed one. A little girl whose mother felt sorry for me. She was about 4 years old, and she came up and said,
I thought you were going to say you had to sign it to Damien.
Boy, they hate it.
What's your name, son? Damien. How do you spell that? Just make it 666. Okay. But look what you do now in Gremlins. You're the good father, aren't you?
Well, now, I don't take it seriously. I have probably a fairly naive perspective on acting now. I realize that I don't have what it takes to be a great actor. No, you know what I'm saying? I just don't have the brains for it. I'm a daydreamer. I've been trying to learn a line, and I see a cloud go by, and I just get caught up in it. Okay? I mean, I just can't concentrate. So what I do is, as long as I have little short lines, you know, and the scenes are short scenes, I can handle it.
You sound like me.
No, as an actor, and let's face it, from my point of view, okay, they fly you into town, put you up in a hotel, drive you to work. When you get there, they brush your hair, put your makeup on, give you clothes to wear, give you the words to say, and the director says how you move around when you say the words, and then they pay you for it.
It's okay.
I like it.
Let's watch it in Gremlins. This is a scene from Gremlins. Then we'll talk some more. Will you explain the clip to us?
Sure, I play an inventor named Rand Peltzer.
All right.
Fantastic ideas for a fantastic world. I make the illogical logical.
Okay.
Okay? And I'm in Chinatown, in a large metropolitan area, and I'm buying a Christmas present for I'm looking for a Christmas present for my son, and I buy it, and I bring it home to him. And that's what the scene is all about.
Okay. Oh, it's exciting. Melissa loved this. Now, is that a good gremlin or a bad gremlin?
That is, I really can't tell you, Joan. I can't tell. I can't give it away.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Was it wonderful working with Steven Spielberg, the director?
Okay, I didn't really work with Steven that much. He was in, no, he was in, oh, wait, see you later, Hoyt. Sorry.
So long, kid.
No, he was in Sri Lanka working with George Lucas on, Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. He was only on the set of Gremlins. See, they did, like, a lot of special effects, and that takes just days and hours and months and years and centuries, you know, to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot to it. Because they had all those little animals, and some of them are like teddy bears. You know, they don't move at all. Some of them move their ears and their eyes and their heads. And some of them had like 32 articulated movements. So they'd have like 12 people laying on the floor behind the couch, you know, with cables. And
I mean, these aren't real animals? Or like,
no, they're not real.
Fake animals?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. I feel like, yeah, real animals. Oh, so they all work.
Yeah, they're all special effects.
I bet you're going to do a song for us, right?
Sure.
When we come back, I want to hear about also your mother writing, Harper. Right,
okay.
We'll be right back after this commercial message of interest, so please stay tuned. Isn't that beautiful, Carl? We're back. Talking to Hoyt accent. Will you sing, please? You brought the guitar. Will you sing something for us?
Well, since I am from Oklahoma, I'd like to do a little rodeo song here. If you're a cowboy out on the highway, you can be sure you're not alone. There are some outlaws who dance on dust clouds and ride wild horses in the rodeo, in the rodeo. There are some horses that I don't like now. Their feet refuse I'd rather ride me tornado twisters who want to go up and never come down in the rodeo. Jim Shoulders and Mahan, Casey Tibbs and Samson, and my buddy Mark Toogood from Calgary. All the wild bull riders like Gary LeFew now, and the rodeo clowns like old Slim Pickens and Mo Bandy love the rodeo in Colorado. One day last summer I rode a horse called Flying Low. He threw me off just outside of Denver, and I came down in Durango in the rodeo. Jim Shoulders and Mahan, Casey Tibbs and Samson, and my buddy Mark Toogood from Calgary. Oh, the wild bull riders like Gary LeFew now, and the rodeo clowns like old Slim Pickens and Mo Bandy love the rodeo. And if you're a cowboy out on the highway, oh, you can be sure you're not alone. There are some outlaws who dance on dust clouds and ride wild horses in the rodeo, in the rodeo, in the rodeo, in the rodeo. Thank you.
Hey, you count very, very fast. We have to go to commercial. Tell it your mother, because it's such a great story. Your mother was an English teacher.
My mother was an English and journalism and drama teacher, and she wrote songs as a hobby. She always enjoyed showbiz and all that. And when I was 15, I came home from football practice one day. I was having myself a triple-decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Doesn't show.
Doesn't show at all. And a friend of my mother's named Tommy Durden came in, and he had a newspaper clipping that he'd cut out of the paper. And it was about a man who had taken all of the identification, all the labels out of his clothing, and wrote a note saying, I walk a lonely street, and committed suicide. And Tommy came in, and he said, May, my mother's name is May, he said, May, there's something about this clipping. And she read that, and they sat down at the piano, and 22 minutes later, they had written Heartbreak Hotel, Elvis Presley's first million-selling record.
Unbelievable. What a great story. What a great story. We'll be right back at this message from our sponsor, so please stay tuned. Love stories. We are back. Talking with Hoyt Axton. My next guest is a very funny lady from Australia. The first time she was on the Carson show, I was playing Vegas, and I got a call from Peter LaSalle saying, watch her, she's funny, funny, funny. And I watched her, and she was funny, funny, funny. She's done the show a lot since then, but never with me, so I'm delighted to have her on tonight, Miss Maureen Murphy.
You know, it's really in to be from Australia now with all the movies, you know, like Road Warrior and Mad Max. If you've seen some of them, the men are very overly macho. You know, they wear the mohawks and the leather jackets. And when I was there, I just really couldn't handle it. You see, they're so macho, they'll get a woman pregnant just to kill a rabbit. But the movies weren't as good when I was growing up. I had a part in a science fiction movie called The Day the Sheep Stood Still. Did you see me in it? Oh, and Olivia Newton-John is our Australian 10. I wanted to be just like her. I always imagined her coming out in a TV show and saying, I'm so perfect. I'd like to tell you something quite personal. I never have to go. And I tried to explain to my mother I wanted to be an actress. I said, Mother, I want to learn to cry real tears. I want to be able to show great emotion for someone I don't really care for. She said, become a housewife. See, here, women go to college before marriage. But in Australia, we're sent to obedience school. You learn to sit, fetch, lie down, and stay. And the only birth control they teach you is roll over and play dead. You see, in Australia, their idea of the perfect wife is Nancy Reagan. She is perfect because I met her in person, and I was so impressed because she seems so lifelike. And even dating is different here. See, in Australia, a bloke will take you out to dinner. And if you didn't come across, he wouldn't ask you out again. It's different in Los Angeles. Here, you don't get dinner. One man called me up and said, would you like to have dinner before I take you back to my apartment? And I said, that would be lovely. He said, I'll pick you up about 9. You should have finished eating by then. And then he called me baby all night. He went, hey, baby, prove to me that you're my baby. Baby? So I did. I dribbled on his shirt. And I met him in a disco, and the kind of man you meet in a disco is the kind that blow dry their chest hair. And they're vain with the mirrors, you know, they watch themselves when they dance, you know. I went home with a man I met in a disco once, and there was mirrors all over his bedroom. He finally said, I want to make love. Would you mind leaving? I've been trying to understand men by watching football. I noticed they treat a football like a woman. You know, they hold on to it, they take it places, they never let it out of their sight. But the moment they score, they toss it aside. Then they go. My father says women's problems all stem from the Bible. When Eve ate the apple. When she did, she saw she was naked, and she was ashamed. And God appeared to her in the form of a construction worker. God said, from now on, women will bear their children in pain. They will be servile to their husbands. They won't earn as much money as men. They will have to dance backwards. That's why I like it here, because women are so independent. I mean, I was reading there might be a woman vice president. That means one day we'll have a woman president, and a woman president would be great. Yeah. Because she'd save the country money. Because she would only make half of what a man president makes. And we still have 2 boobs in the White House. And older women are getting more and more powerful. Like, they're even going out with real young men. That makes sense, because they say a woman is never more beautiful than when she's with child. Now, I have an older woman friend. She tells me that if you go out with a real young man, you should never kiss him while lying on top, because the skin all falls forward. And you look like a basset hound. You can relate to that. So she's always giving herself the instant facelift, which is Scotch tape and a rubber band stretched right around. Because I was at a party with her where the rubber band snapped and her face flew across the room. And women are working out, they're building up their muscles, going to Jane Fonda's workout, and they say that these co-ed exercise places is a real good way to meet men, and I've been doing that, but I just feel a little funny, you know, lying on the floor with my legs over my shoulders, my behind over my face, and the man next to me says, haven't I seen you someplace before?
Very funny. 2 lines they say, I wish I had written those. That's, you know, it's good.
Oh, it's so great to be on.
It's so nice to see you.
Because I met you before in Las Vegas, and
yes.
you worked so hard, and you were always learning all these jokes, and, you know...
And still am.
And you know, you're a hostess, and you're a terrific hostess.
Well, it's hard to be a woman comedian, isn't it?
It's very hard.
Now, see, everyone's feeling very sorry for us. Is it hard in your private life? Do you find men expect you to be funny all the time?
Well, men comedians don't look on me as a woman. They look on me, which they don't look, well, Gary Schelling told me that. He said that I don't look on you as a woman, and then he started taking his shirt off, but it was, but I did live with the man for 5 years in the village, you know, where you worked, and we had a non-sexual relationship because he was writing jokes, and I think, well, we got the dogs, too. That kind of the sex went out of the relationship once we got the dogs.
Why?
Well, you know, so the first dog was real difficult. Now, once we got the second dog, that was out of the question. And then he was writing material for me. You know, he used to write jokes.
Why was it out of the question?
Because they would watch. They would watch.
Well, but there's nothing to watch.
Well, there wasn't because we didn't do anything. For four and a half years I lived with him, and that was in the village, Hank. But he was my inspiration, and he, you know, started writing stuff for me, and I was working around the village, like after you know, you worked the duplex. And
I worked all those places, yes.
And, you know, I mean, the village was really different in those days, wasn't it? You know, there was the underground, there was a stabbing while I was on one time, I remember. And then you did hospital shows. Did you ever do hospital shows? Yes, USO shows.
Well,
this was hospital.
And hospitals, you go around Long Island and do hospital shows,
yeah. And there was a woman in a wheelchair, and she would sing, and she'd make her husband tap dance. He had a bad heart, and he tap danced. And he finally died, you know, and she married one of the patients and went to Puerto Rico, so...
What about strip joints? Those are the worst I ever played. Did you ever play strip joints?
I played there's the old Lago, and was one place also downtown Los Angeles, and I had to come on in between the strippers, and then I had to run to the bar and drink the phony orange juice, and then do my act. And then for 125, all that for 125, and I used to be filled with gas with the phony orange juice. You know, did you ever do that? You know, you had to
I had to save my swizzle sticks.
You did?
If you sold the guy a drink, you saved the swizzle stick, you got a quarter at the end of the evening.
Oh, I didn't get the quarter.
Yeah, well.
No.
You should have called me.
But, I wanted to say, you know, because I
wanted great in this.
You like the leather?
It's terrific.
I've gone into leather now. You know, with the punky look, but you see my knives in the ears? Because I like Billy Idol, you know, and I like that heavy metal stuff. I was wondering, are you into that? Do you ever have Edgar dress up in leather and stuff?
Well... Yeah, but we're having our chains done at Tiffany's, so it's going to take a while. We'll be right back after this commercial message, so please stay tuned. Is a lady I always wait because I really ask her everything, and she tells you she's so bright. She's an associate professor at New York Hospital. Her show, The Source, is on NBC Radio and Radio Network and KFI. And starting the end of August, she will have a new TV series called Sexually Speaking, which is very exciting. Her book is out now in paperback called Dr. Ruth's Guide to Good Sex. Will you please help me welcome Dr. Ruth? Cushion.
Of course.
There. Now, last time you were here, I had asked you about S&M, and then we had to get off the air. So I saved my notes.
All right.
Because we said next time you're back.
I remember.
When does something become S&M? When is it? Yes. Well,
okay.
No, Dr. Ruth, I read your book. It stays next to my bed. I mean, she just mentioned leather and chains. What I'm trying to say is, what is all right sexually and what isn't is what I'm trying to